Oh, hey there, John.
Oh, hey there, Nick.
We're back.
We're back. We are back, all the way back.
And we're going to do
video included.
Yeah, this is great, man. It's, even virtually, you and I can still talk sports. Mm-hmm. So let's break into it. So what we're basically going to do, kind of a assessment of what the upcoming game will be like this weekend. I'm basing mine around some of the injury report. You're basing some of your information around statistics, and we're going to hope to get somewhere close to what could really happen.
A little viewers and the listeners. So why don't you go ahead and start with the injury report, because that will take precedence over kind of any assessment that we're going to make of the game.
All right, so I'm just going to run right down what we're currently seeing on the injury report and what that looks like. So to start off, the number one player on the list, and I'm not sure if it's alphabetical or if this is just coincidence. It does appear to be alphabetical. So the first player on our injury report is Jae Alexander. Disappointing to some. He's got a knee and hand injuries, so 2 injuries there. But he's been a full participant both yesterday and the day prior, as well as today. So he's got 3 days full participation. He's probably a go. I like it. There's nothing listed under his status. Number 2 is Chris Barnes, our inside linebacker, one of our reserve linebackers there.
Right.
Limited participant.
He's played well.
Yeah, he's played very well, and he's got a calf. Very similar to Jair, doesn't appear to be very serious. He had limited participation on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. He was full participant. So, yeah, I mean, he's had a nice little addition for our interior defense, at that middle linebacker spot behind Kirksey. It'd be nice to have him available, even if Kamal Martin's playing well.
Right. Yeah, I mean, all the help we can get on that front seven, man.
Yeah. We've not talked about that enough, right?
Right.
So moving on down the list, our number 3, and this is going to hurt you a little bit, I get the feeling. Kevin King with an Achilles and a groin. Now, he's been limited participant all week, and so I get the impression he'll probably play, because the real indicator there that we're looking for that's going to say no is the DNP, but we've got an LP. So I'm thinking he'll be good to go, but maybe it's something to keep an eye on, though, with our banged up starting corners there on the boundary.
Yeah, and I wonder if any of these guys will play. You'd think that if there's any risk of injury due to a small injury kind of nagging one of these guys, all 3 of those guys are too important to kind of lose. So I don't know. We've been conservative all year, less so more recently. It'll be interesting to see if we play those guys.
I get the impression that we wouldn't be practicing them if they were going to sit out. But I could be wrong.
Yeah, maybe.
I could very well be wrong. But there's nothing listed for any of these players yet on their status. So that leads me to believe that, they're dinged up, but we're not going to have to worry too much about it. Granted, that would be a huge loss, right? To lose either or both of those boundary corners.
Yeah, it would definitely hurt our ability to, I was going to say stop the pass, but the Lions aren't going to do anything about that. So
which is why
they don't really have the pieces to take advantage.
That's why this is a trap game, though.
Yep, it narrows the margin for error.
Yep. All right, so looking on down the list, we have Alan Lazard with a core injury, which I think is probably a continuation of what he's dealt with throughout the year. Limited participant in all these weeks of practice. Not seriously injured in the last game, although he did take a big hit. So that's, maybe that factors too,
Yeah, better safe than sorry, maybe. I don't know.
Absolutely. Mercedes Lewis. Now, this is an interesting one. So Wednesday, he was a limited participant. Thursday, they had him not practicing at all, and now today he's a full participant. I take this as he's a 16-year vet. Give him a day off. That's what I'm taking that as. Yeah,
he's only out there to catch touchdowns as a celebratory thing for the team.
Lucas Patrick limited all week due to a toe. So I'm not super concerned there. Pretty young guy, more of a reserve role. We'll be fine if Runyon has to go there. And then this is where it starts to get a little dicey. This is where we start talking about guys that we might actually see some question of whether they're playing. And the next one on the list is Darnell Savage. So they have no information for him for either Wednesday or Thursday. He has a groin injury, limited participant today, and they've got him questionable for this weekend. So that's a little scary back there, but I like our reserve safeties. So I think we'll be okay if he were to.
Yeah, the secondary's held strong all year, so.
Yeah. And then kind of jumping in that same area, we have Vernon Scott with a quadricep. He's been limited all week with the quadricep injury. Once again, though, I'm imagining he's going to go because he did come back to full today. Likewise, J.K. Scott in the same situation. Neither of those guys listed as questionable or anything, so I get the impression that they're a little dinged up. Moving down the list is Darius Smith, full participant all week, but they've got him listed with an ankle. Not concerned that he's going to miss any time this week. Equanimous St. Brown, he is questionable. He had did not practice on Wednesday, limited yesterday, full today. But I think, honestly, with the injuries we've had at wide receiver, I would be surprised if we didn't just let him kind of relax a little bit. He's not a huge part of what we're doing there. So I don't know. That'll be an interesting one to see. It gets scary here. We have two guys out, not playing. It's not that scary. Simon Stepaniak, which we already kind of knew. He's been on kind of a IR thing all year. I don't think he'll play much, if at all, this year.
Right. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, not a big deal. Not a big deal. We're just getting into the weeds here. Jay Sternberger will be out. He has not practiced all week, but we kind of saw that coming too after the last game when he was injured. So we kind of knew that was happening.
Disappointing year from Jay, quite frankly.
Yeah, I think he's had some flashes. I'd say this year was less disappointing than last year, so there's that to be said for him.
Yeah.
But also, everything he's done has been just overshadowed by what Bob Tunyon's done over there. I really like the way he's played this year. And people that don't know the Packers know Tunyon right now. They still call him Tunyon,
he's a big deal.
But like we were doing.
He's just been so good. It doesn't. I mean, we talked about it before the season, but somebody to pop, and he popped.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's played great. So he's not out. He's not listed on the injury
report. It's great.
I like it.
Terrible news for the Lions. Yeah.
This one's gonna kill you. Malik Taylor, questionable for this game, has not practiced today. Limited yesterday. How do you feel?
He's my number. He's the number 53 roster man in my heart at all times. I love that guy.
And then finally,
but he's not gonna play. He doesn't play much anyway.
He's questionable, so you never know. Get a little reserve role. We are going to see more Tavon Austin this week, though. Irvin is for sure out.
Irvin's out? Is Tavon listed at all on the injury report?
No.
Okay.
And actually, now that I'm looking at it, Irvin's not listed on here, but I did hear that he was out. I'll have to double check on some other sources here to follow up on that. But yeah, my understanding is Swerve will be out, and Tavon Austin will probably be taking on that role. Now, I'd love to see them both back there in the backfield. Those two guys, beautiful.
Do you think that any of those injuries are like crippling to us if they are out? Let's assume whoever's out, like pick, 75% of those guys and say they're out. Okay. Is there any combination of guys that like cripples us?
Not so much. The last one which I have yet to mention, actually limited all week, has been Rick Wagner with a knee. That could be a tough one, just because of the fact that we don't have a ton behind him. Now, honestly, now I'm thinking about it, they probably moved Turner over. They have Patrick and Runyon at guard. We've got a killer.
You put Elton Jenkins wherever.
Yeah,
have him play center and.
Yeah, Fox healthy. He's running down the field chasing after Devontae. Now, here's what would kill us, though. Back to your question, what would kill us is the combination of Jair, Darnell, and King. All three of those guys out. I think that could be pretty bad for us. I don't think it's going to happen, but that I think would be very rough for our prospects in this game. But it's the Lions, right? We should be doing pretty well in this. They fired their coach. We've got a head coach that played in Michigan. They've got a head coach that played in Wisconsin. Both former quarterbacks. This is going to be a fun one to watch. Hopefully, unless they lose somehow in the trappedness.
Well, it should be fun to watch because it's a trap game, but we should not lose, even regardless of trap game status. We need the win, I think. Like, it's really important that we do not lose this game because the difference between a divisional round, like a bye. Now, we're currently in the space for a bye, I believe.
No, actually, we're number 2. The Saints have the number 1 seed. We're in the number 2 seed. They've expanded the playoffs to 7 teams. So now
that's right, and only one. Okay, but if we tie the Saints, then we would have the tiebreaker because we beat them.
Yeah, the head-to-head.
So I think every game counts, and it'll be interesting to see how we come out. And I think that's really, like, we could talk all we want about all the players and all the stats and everything, but, like, it's a game of, like, show up, gentlemen, you know?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely agree with that.
It's the day at work no one wants to go in for, but you have to. And it's like, okay, we got to show up with some energy and enthusiasm at least to start the game. Or we may just cost ourselves a bye, you know?
Oh, yeah, 100%. And I think you say that about the rest of the schedule. We're playing Panthers, Titans, and Bears. Although that sounds relatively easy compared to what some teams are facing, we could lose any of those games and it wouldn't surprise me. But man, if we string together some convincing wins, maybe we're primed for the playoffs. I don't know. It's hard to say what to expect out of this team, but man, if we get hot, we can compete with anybody, but that's kind of the crux of it this year, right? Because anybody can compete with us too.
Yes.